Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to the Sunday night show, guys. Got Rick Ross in the house. What's up, Rick? We're doing stuff, y'all. What's up, guys? What's up? I got Troy in the house tonight. Y'all meet Troy. Hey. If you have any questions for him, he'll answer you. We're working on a bill for him today. He's got a truck wall that, but basically he had a box turned forward, and we're turning it into a truck wall. So we've been on that all day. What's up? W's in he's in hiding in his little alt character. Oh, let's see here. What's up, Mr. Ray? Outlaw. You got the 2 SA. So we got a question in here. What do you think about 2 SA-12s and a Ram 1500 quad cab on a 1500 JL amp? That's going to be a mid-level bass. It's going to sound good. It ain't going to get loud crazy like what we do, but it'll definitely do things. It's going to be more dependent on what kind of enclosure you're using. Whether your enclosure is tuned properly or has the correct airspace is going to make a big difference on how well that's going to work in a build. But I have no issues with that. Sounds like a solid setup. Changed. I did not change your name. Oh, YouTube changed your name. YouTube's on crack, dude. You guys are awesome. Glad to see y'all here tonight. So welcome to the show. Dog Snight, welcome to the show, my friend. Welcome to the show, Mr. Ray. Let's see here. Manny Box, welcome, Manny boy, welcome. Let's see here. Hi, I love his channel too. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, he is.
I like your picture, man. It's a subwoofer. That's cool. Let's see here. Robert Smith says, I'm running my Slaps 8K at 0.5. Not sure if box rise and I have good electrical. The amps are worth the money. I'm running it at 1 ohm. Yeah, I don't recommend running them at half an ohm, but I know that they're capable of doing it. It's just not recommended. But your box rise is probably going to be somewhere If you run them at 1 ohm, the box rise usually is around 3.5 ohms or so is where it usually falls for most people. Uh, but so you're at half an ohm, you're probably rising up into that 2 ohm territory. But the problem is that whenever you're not rising, you're down pretty low. It's rough on amplifiers. If you're going to run at a half an ohm, though, what I would suggest is running dual input for your power and ground. So you'll have 4 power wires and 4 ground wires total. And the reason is that the dual inputs help with heat control in the power supply section of the amplifier. They help uh, dissipate heat. They act like a radiator. So whenever heat builds up in that power supply end of the amplifier, those big old brass or copper dual outputs or dual inputs will actually add heat sink territory to let heat get out of the amplifier. So it's a good thing, especially if you're going to run below 1 ohm on any amplifier. If you're going to run it lower than its impedance rating, you want to run dual inputs just for that purpose alone. Not to mention being able to get extra current into the amplifier, which is going to require more current than it's really got socketed for, because you're pulling more power into it and out of it than it was literally designed to do. So you want to double up on the dual input kind of thing. Let's see. Yeah, I know, right? He's talking about your beard. Yeah, Troy's got a nice one, man. I'm trying to catch up, but I'm still in the beginner phase. Troy's straight up ZZ Top, man.
Oh yeah,
He's rocking out. Let's see here. What kind of amplifier is he running? Troy's running a Slap 8K
at 1 ohm.
At 1 ohm properly, and running 2 Defbonts 300 series.
Yeah, 305.
The
302. Because the 2 means 12.
Yeah, I can't remember, but yeah, I think you're right.
302.
Yeah. Basically, he's running 2 of the same Defbonts 12s that I used to run in the Tahoe when I was running 4 of them. And they kick. They sound real good. We're working on building the trunk wall so that it seals it off from the back, from the trunk. And that build is going to be coming up in the next couple of days. We got to get things finished. I've got a whole lot of video on it, but I've got to finish the build before I put the video up. I don't know. I may put it up as a 2-parter. I don't know. We'll see.
We got enough hours to be 2-part.
Yeah, no kidding, dude. So you have the dual inputs. Good deal. Yeah, if you're gonna drop an amp down on an ohm load that's substantially below what it's rated for, it's always a good idea to run dual inputs for everything, and get good ones that give you separation. A lot of times you'll have some that get real close together. I don't like those. And if you go over to GP Audio, you can order. They've got heat shrink for the dual input blocks that you can heat shrink over the entire block after you get done hooking your wires up, and that makes for a much safer situation. Let's see here. Steve, what's up, man? It's tough. Personally, I'm good with my hands. It's a tough. Personally, I'm good with hands, but still as well. I'm assuming you typoed somewhere in the middle of that statement, because that is not English. Not even close. I was trying to find something to pick on you about, but no, I can't really put in there. I could say, if you're a married man, then you're good with your hands. That's fun, huh? What's up? I'm gonna try to pronounce that name. That's Nosrak. Let's see here. I just got my truck up and going with 3 shock 8Ks on 6 Scar VXFs. Currently doing my pour foam doors. Oh my God, those are fun. First turn on started to rip doors. Yes, sir. Pour foam doors are a real bitch, but they are very, very solid when you get done with them. and they're fun, dude. That's a lot of work, and I hope that all turns out because you can really screw up quick with that. But the benefits are strong for doing those. Let's see here. He says, "Now I can't pronounce your name. I don't think anybody can pronounce your name. Is it supposed to be Slim? Is it just Slim with extra letters? I don't know. You don't have enough vowels in your name. There's way too many consonants. I have two 8Ks on 2 ohms. Yeah, and I run like that for a while. I ran like that the most of the season before I switched subs because I had four 15s, but my final ohm load was either going to be, a quarter ohm or 2 ohms. I think it was a quarter ohm. I don't remember. But anyway, I'm not going to try to do the math in my head right now. But I had to run them at 2 ohms, and they were jamming. I mean, the thing about the slab amps is they are very efficient at that 4 ohm range. So even if you've got them running at 2 ohms, you're like say for instance you have two running at 2 ohms or one running at 1 ohm, you're going to get more power out of the two running at 2 ohms. On paper, you won't, but in reality, you will, uh, because they're very efficient at that 4 ohm area. Um, so you're going to get a little bit more power out of the. You're going to get more than half. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't stack up the same. Uh, oh yeah, yeah. If you ain't clipping, you ain't playing, man. You guys see my setup whenever I'm demoing, it looks straight up like a Christmas tree. It's like a Christmas tree having a seizure. But just know what you're doing. Be careful. Know what you're doing. You can make it work. Uh, Clipping is how I function. I set my gains up. I match my amps to the same output, and then I adjust for the sound level I'm playing from song to song. I set my clip at my DSP, and I usually set my gains to where I am going into a hard clip at the very top of the knob, and then I know where on the knob I'm still not clipping at, so I can adjust it as I want to whenever I'm doing demos and doing shows and stuff like that. But I also have a temp gun, as I keep watching my temps on my subs the entire time we're up and running. I check them between each demo to make sure I'm not overheating anything. This is all shit you have to do differently if you're going to run, if you're going to push your stuff to crazy mode. You've got to handle it differently. You've got to uh, babysit differently. Krista's out here?
Yeah.
Well, hey, come on in. So not only do I have Troy here, but I also have Christian here. Let's see what Dubby says. I got a hatch clap. Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. He put stuff in there. I got hatch clap. I was thinking of ratchet straps with island hooks in the trunk. Um, you could do that. You could also consider turnbuckles. Getting some turnbuckles at like at the lumber supply place, Tractor Supply, whatever. Some of the little small turnbuckles and put one on each side. And you'd have to crawl in from inside the car to bolt them down and to adjust them down, but you could absolutely lock that trunk into the down position seriously hard with some turnbuckles with the little eye hooks in the end, and you just have a piece of chain or cable or whatever to connect them to on both ends and just get inside and turn them down until you clamp everything down. That's a possibility. Uh, my system's made for music. I feel you, brother. And that's how I started out too, but it kind of went somewhere else at some point. It kind of just went off the rails. Um, Hey, 157 ain't nothing wrong with that. That's what I'm doing. I hear somebody bumping out there. That must be Christian. I don't know. They're bumping outside the house at this time of night. Right there, I had to shake my stick at them, shake my cane at them. Need the DSP to properly game match the Shock 8Ks. 94.7 is clean, 95 is clip. Yeah, it's real tight range there. I can't remember what I'm getting out of them though. Uh, Going to need penicillin for that clap, W, right? And a hammer, big old hammer, man. How do you feel about CMAX 120 amp? Uh, I'm not a huge fan of CMAX. I mean, in the battery world, CMAX is about the most power dense you can get. It's the least expensive. You can pull like 15 volts, 16 volts, and all that stuff. It's all good. The downside is it's very splody. If you don't have them compressed properly, if you have them over compressed or under compressed, and you have little pockets of fire that just kind of jump out of there. So I'm not a big fan of things that like to explode, but except for Sony's, we can explode some Sony's. But as far as what you're getting out of it, you're getting a decent price, a really good price. You're getting a lot of power density, and we can run pretty high voltage. So they do the job well. They're just sketch, man. And the other thing is, all those batteries are used. They all come out of an actual car, a C-Max. And so we don't know for sure the state that you get them in. So it's kind of a mixed bag, man. A bit of a lottery. El Fuego is in the house. What's up, El Fuego? Glad to see you show up. Okay, he's talking back and forth. Where's Bobby? Bobby, I don't know where. Bobby, yeah, Bobby hadn't showed up. He's milking the goats. Yeah, he's definitely milking the goats, man. You know, those goats require a lot of milking. And if there's any milking to be done, Bobby can take care of it. And you know El Fuego, he's always hollering at you. You should holler at him. Uh, Wondering about Bobby? Yeah, me too. Uh, you know, Bobby sent us a Christmas card, and it's actually hanging on the wall in the hallway. So I got a picture of Bobby B in the wall on the wall in the hallway. Close the door, man. You're raising a barn, standing around looking stupid over there.
He was taking his lunch bag off.
Yeah, he's doing something. You reach over and smack him upside the head. Damn, youngsters these days. We got multiple people in the room tonight. What's up, Rob? Tar amps. Not really. I'm not a fan. I mean, everybody has different luck with it with different stuff. But I can't see purchasing a Tar amps amplifier when I can get a better amplifier from Slaps and probably at a less of a price. So that's why I don't. If you're going for a budget amp, man, you're not going to beat the Slaps, Shock 8Ks and the Shock 5Ks. You're just not going to beat them. Hey, yeah, you like that? You like my? See, we got it all. I'm not high and tight. I'm straight up bald, my friend. I got it all cut off. That's how I get my hair cut. I don't mess around with just trimming it. I mow the yard. You know what I'm saying? I mow it down to the dirt. Let's see here.
Youngsters, get off my lawn.
Yeah, kids, get off my grass. I cane after your ass. Happy Sunday, gents. What's up, Stu? Stu is in the house. I've got my replacement monitor coming tomorrow. So by next Friday, I'll be back to doing my normal stuff. I can't really do any side stuff because I don't have two monitors. It makes it really hard to try to manipulate things. Let's see here. Nose right. Y'all need to get. I get yeah. Need to get an upgrade for my CMAX 90 amp hour dip from 14.7 to 12.2. Woo! Get a four banks of skibs for 40K standalone. Yeah, that'd be a solid upgrade, my friend. 90 amp hours is a little bit low for CMAX. Most of the guys are running CMAX are running 200 plus amp hours. They're so energy dense. You can run a whole lot more amp hours in a reasonably small space, and that's why you also need them. Passive Radiator Man is here. Let's see. Here are LLL Stu's Custom Shops, guys. If you want some really cool stuff, and you don't mind waiting because he's busier than the one-legged man in a kick fight or a handkerchief in a tornado. But Stu builds some really amazing stuff. Working on a fourth order build. I have 2 JP63s, and I'm thinking about ordering 4 Oblivion V115s. Not sure if I'd go with the 4 ohm and run each pair at 1 ohm or go to D2s. I'd run at just exactly what you said. I would go with the 4s and run each pair at 1 ohm. You'll be better off that way. You're less likely to have problems. Also, when you go to getting below 1 ohm, you start getting into really inefficient territory. So you're going to be requiring a lot more power to support them. So I would suggest running 2 amps at 1 ohm each. That's what I'm running in the Tahoe. We're doing stupid shit in that Tahoe. 2 JP63s. Yeah, you can get the V1s or you can get the V2s. Either one. The V2s have got a little bit more motor force, a little bit more excursion, and a little bit better spider. So they're an upgrade, but you can do a whole lot of nasty with the V1s. I know. And Rob Richards said Skib is king. I don't know, man. I like my Truck Thunder Lithium. I'm pretty set on that. C-Max. Yeah, that's real right there.
He says C-Max is fire.
It's fire. Fire extinguishers are a must for all car audio. I have 2. I got 1 fire extinguisher located back in the back by my batteries, and I have another one located in the side door, completely away from that. So we're good. Truck Thunder Lithium, best way to go, and most safe. 100%, my friend. 100%. I agree with you 100%. Yep. He said dual 4s also. 2 amplifiers are on what DSP and 2 subs? Don't know. El Fuego says, my 84 Accord was never the same after the fire. They even changed his name. The fire was so devastating that they started calling him the fire. Hell yeah. Built the box into a trunk, and then we ripped it out. Yeah, that's kind of the thing, when you build ins, oftentimes you have to go back and tear them out, and you kind of wish you hadn't. Safest lithium and most tested is Yinlong with Skib, 2.9 amp hour cells and 6 amp hour cells, the best for size and performance, 14.8. I'll let you have that one because I'm not really sure. Get off my lawn! So those turnbuckles will allow me to get less box rise, so my lamp cord glows more. Absolutely, absolutely. You'll get less box rise, and your lamp cords will grow very brightly. Good day. You can get a 5K for a penny. Yeah, okay. He's beard trick friend. Yes, it is my beard trick friend. I've seen the video with you with your beard.
Yeah, I've been in a couple.
It would do it back. It does better now. I should get you out there and put you in the window, like get you up in the window instead of in the seat. Or we can maybe we can make it split up into multiple pieces. Well, you look weird as hell like that, man. Don't do that. You're already scary enough. That's terrifying. Low screens and low better. Oh yeah. Do I like my subs? I love my subs. I don't know who you're talking to. Not sure, but you know what? My subs, I absolutely love my subs. My V2s are nasty. Help hold sound in an enclosure box. Pretty much anything will help stop a leak. If you got a leaky box, if it's a small one, even paint can solve that. Like using some house paint on the inside of an enclosure, like 2 or 3 layers, can help fill small gaps. But it's not going to help with your box flexing. No amount of any of that stuff's going to help to flex. Even heavy bed liner is not going to help it with flexing. Uh, it will help seal it though if it's got some air leaks. Uh, are you talking about the Oblivion V2s? They're stupid, dude. Absolutely stupid. The 18 tornadoes are only good down about 60 hertz. I don't know that one. Dog coating the box will help seal it better. Yeah, yep, I agree with that. Not CMAX, XS, XMAX 90 amp, DIY, 22 amp hours, good for 14.6, 12K stock. Too many numbers, man. You're making my head hurt. Um, yep, that made my head hurt. Bobby Boo! What's up? You finally got the goat's milk and decided to come on in here, man. Did you make us any cheese before you came in, Bobby? Let's see here. Yeah, I'm down with some lithium. I really am. Uh, get off my lawn, boy. MDF actually leaks more than you think. Saw a demo back in the day when they used a vacuum to grab multiple sheets at a time. Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? That's the thing about wood. It's porous. And that's all of it. MDF's probably the least porous, but all wood is very porous. Brazilian JBLs, he said. Let's see here. Still running AGM. Someone say Tahoe. Mr. Ray, what's up, man? Yeah, I absolutely say Tahoe. I say Tahoe on a constant basis. I got to get some big old vinyl decals made up for my shit. I want it to say the bass machine on it and like big letters, something that you can see from across the parking lot. I got to put my name on there. Got to put its name on there. It is the bass machine. So let's see here. 12 in my room. I don't know what he has. Do you have a
12 in his room?
Do you have a collection of midgets or what?
You got a 12 in your room too.
I do. Oh, he has. I have a 12.
Yeah, he has a 12.
I have a 12
with
in my
300
room.
watts. About what you
That's
got.
just about exactly what this is. This is doing about 320 watts, and it's playing a 12 volt. That's right behind Troy. Uh, that's what I do whenever I'm mixing all my stuff, all the music. It gets run through that 12. About to start building lithium banks, launching the brand January the 1st. Sweet, hit me up, man. Let me know what you're doing. I'm all about small startups. That's what I do. That's who I support on my channel is small guys. I support those guys. Uh-oh. I sense the bullshit approaching. Stu, that could have been Vent MDF. You never know. You never know. Stu is in the house. I love it. Guys, between W and Stu, this is actually W right here. He's got a stupid made up name. He's like Spider-Man. We're using his made up name. His name, he's from on the other side of the planet. We allow him to hang out over here because he's cool. He's one of the cool Australian guys.
Okay. Humidity can burn too.
Media vent check out Mediate Vent MDF. Could have been that. Fuego says lithium is on my wish list for the new build. Yeah, once you go lithium, you don't ever want to go back to AGM, dude. It's such a huge difference.
Way better.
So much difference. Humidity can run into. Oh God. Yeah, I don't like using MDF. I really don't. Um, uh, Slime says I have sodium lithium. There you go. Sodium's an interesting chemistry. Um, it's not as power dense as lithium is, and it's also heavier. But it's shaping up to be safer even. And at some point, right now, it's relatively expensive, but it's shaping up also to be less expensive in the future and sustainable. So sodium is going to be the jam at some point. Uh, I'd say within the next 5 years, we're going to be seeing a lot more good sodium at a relatively inexpensive price. It's not perfect though, but none of them are. All the chemistries have some kind of flaws. Let's see here, red pill. I didn't know W was one of those guys always upside down. Yeah, he is, man. If you turn him right side up, he just gets drunk and passes out. You know, all the alcohol runs to his head, mixes with his blood. Oh, yeah. Sorry about the pics right now. I can't pull stuff up because I'm only running one monitor, and it severely cripples my ability to do anything. But I will be checking it out. Just did. Sodium might take off. So sodium might take off and end up being solid state. Oh yeah. And I see the solid state is really epic, but it's not anywhere near ready. But it is a thing, and solid state's going to be. It's going to be basically a battery that works very similar to a capacitor, but with the capacity of a battery. So it's going to be a game-changing piece of kit. But that's a ways down the road yet. So can you have AGM up front and lithium in the back? Yes. If you're daily in the vehicle and you're not letting it sit up for a long time, yes. The thing about running it that way is the lithium will try to charge the AGM battery, and so the AGM battery will slowly pull the top charge off the lithium and bring it down to the floating voltage of the AGM battery. And it takes a while for that to happen. It's not as good of a place for your lithium to be whenever it's lower than its resting voltage. So it shortens the lifespan a little bit on the lithium. But if you're daily driving it, it's fine. It won't have a chance to really sap it like that. So it works out. I have 2 boxes of those cells. Oh man, you got all kinds of cool stuff. Graphene's another one. Yeah, regular old pencil lead batteries. That's gonna be crazy. I will, brother. I can't right now though. Yeah, that's the other thing is a lot of batteries have a hard time working in cold environments, so that can be a big problem. If your chemistry may work fine in a normal environment, temperate environment, but it may not work for shit in a cold environment. Yeah, they do have battery warmers, but that also consumes some of your power.
Yeah, battery warmers.
Yeah, no, that's real. I got one in there in my stash. Um, we need a battery isolator. You could run a battery isolator if you're going to have it setting up for any lengths of time and not daily driven. Then I would run a battery isolator. And they did have some really good ones on battery hookup for a really good price. There were 500 amp isolators. They're not there anymore. I told you guys about it a while back. I told you guys to go over to Battery Hookup and buy 3 or 4 of those things because they were like 8 or 10 bucks a piece, and they're 500 amp battery isolators, 500 amp relays. You could do so much cool stuff with that. They sold out of them. If you got them, you got them. If you didn't, you didn't. I got a couple stashed. Mama Bear helped Stu with the butt flap cover. I don't even want to know what Dummy's talking about. That man is crazy. He's over there hanging out with wallabies and shit. The battery on the front of my truck is dead. The lithium starts it. Of course. As long as it ain't dead, it's going to start it. Good deal. I would take that battery out and just run off your lithium. I gave one to my mom so she can plug it into her truck overnight. Okay. I gave one to my mom so she can plug her truck in overnight. All right. Awesome.
Probably the battery warmer.
I guess. Sometimes it's just, whatever.
Everywhere,
right?
Yeah.
You never know. Running signal sub 10 on 3K. Words, man. Work with your words.
Single.
Obviously he's got a 10 on a 3K, but that was horrible English. Come on. You guys are better than that.
Talk to text. It does it to me all the time.
Solenoids. Yeah, I know, man. That spell check and spell correct can really screw you over. Solenoids can handle a lot for less money. Solenoids. Okay.
Instead of breakers.
Yeah, instead of a relay, a 500 amp relay. I don't run the batteries parallel with a good alt. Let them eat. There you go. Or do a battery delete. Sure, that's fair. The drop bears have very low box rise. Hey, man, I don't know if it was me that gave you the advice, but you're welcome. How do you feel about the big 3? I used to do that on last 3 bills now, doing 2 runs of 4, all of which is good. I got to take a break, guys. Hang out just for a minute, and I'll be right back. I got to go to the bathroom.
I figured that's what it was. That's why I was getting back.
We'll run from home. Sorry about that, guys. I had to take a little break. Run to the restroom. My wife gave me my water pills earlier, and they're kicking in. Kicking in. All right. Let's see what's going on here. Whoa. Where are we even at? I don't even know where I'm at. Taco lines time. Let's see here. Okay, I think I found it. Yep, that's Dubby being crazy. Sweet. All right. The big 3. We're talking about that. So, The Big Three is one of those things that has a name, but the name really doesn't reflect exactly what you do. Basically, you just make more grounds connected from your alternator to your battery, better grounds connected to everything. Run a nice hot power wire from your alternator to your battery, and then you've done the Big Three. So essentially, I just run straight from my alternator to my back batteries, and from those batteries to my amplifier. That's how I run. And back. Taco lines time. Hell yeah. Too much Diet Coke. Nah, it's water pills, man. I take one every night, and I took one about a half an hour or so before the show started, so all the fluids getting cycled through the system. Maybe it's coming out. Got to drain the lizard, yes sir. Let's see here. I have the SmackDown V2s. I want to go from 6 Scar VXFs to 6 SmackDown 15s on 6 8Ks. Son of a bitch, that's a hell of a setup. I was going to run that off of. I was looking at 6 SmackDowns off of 3 8Ks. And then we were talking about running 6 SmackDowns off of 6 5Ks, which is actually right in the money spot for the SmackDown's power needs, for the 5Ks. But running 8Ks, that's taking it to the next level. Shit should get quite real. Debbie says, proceeds to hear crystal clear sounds from the toilet. SQ draining. It's called a leaky box, Debbie. You guys are a hoot.
Paint it.
It's basically wiring for a bigger alternator. Yes, agreed. Do you time align frequencies in the restroom for perfect balance? Absolutely. I pee in stereo sometimes in the morning. When the little holes stuck together and you get 2 streams instead of 1. I ain't quite mastered the quad sound yet, or a 2.1, but I can definitely give you a stereo stream. No, we didn't drop any mid bass, man. We were strictly working with highs. Mid bass is for later. Separate the battery. It's randomly turned on. I got you. Basic gist is on Big Three is making sure the circuit you create, adding the amplifier says no restrictions anywhere, hot and ground. Exactly. Stu. 98 dB sensitivity 18s. Boy, you ain't asking for much, are you? That's insane. That's some very high sensitivity. But yeah, the more you get more out of them, as long as they can do the job. Mechanically, higher sensitivity is going to give you more boom for the power you're putting in. Again, as long as they can mechanically do the job you're asking them to do, which is usually the problem. When you build subs that can mechanically handle the movement that we're asking, they tend to lose sensitivity. That's what you give up. So yeah. Said you blew a DC 5K? Or DC 5K. I hate when that happens. I don't want to hear about anybody blowing up amplifiers. That's a huge money pit. I don't know, man. I couldn't tell you, Debbie. Stu says sensitivity in that range will probably be higher FS and lower power handling. Yeah. And also lower Xmax as well. And not as efficient cooling. And all that other shit. It's like if you buy high power handling subs that have high mechanical ability, they're going to be low sensitivity. It's just the trade-off. Oh yeah, no problem with that. Sundown. You used to run Sundown, but you run FI now. Awesome. I run slaps. I think I've just about got my entire build slaps. I need to replace my little JL10, but it just does such a good job in that little sealed box under the dash. I don't know. I'll probably keep it around. I've had it for years. It's like a 20-year-old sub, and I've been banging it for most of that time. So I'm not sure that I could ever get rid of that little JL sub. Thing sounds so juicy under the dash. Plays my low mids real good. Um, what's up, El Fuego? If a carb audio system was Thanksgiving dinner, what part of the system would be what Thanksgiving dish? If a carb audio. So you did real good, but he did add the B on car. So, well, I'm going to tell you, man, the turkey would absolutely be the subwoofer. That would be the base. I think that the dressing would be the mids. Since, the mids are made up by 90% of the music that you listen to comes out of your mids. And I think that the dressing would make that spot. That's the dressing. 90% of my plates covered with good dressing. And for the highs, I think probably the beer. Oh, wait, y'all don't have beer at Thanksgiving? I did when I was younger. Little beer, man. I got you. Kicker. I run 8 ohm mids and highs in my Tahoe. Every mids and high speaker in my Tahoe is 8 ohms, and they are loud. Are they loud?
Yes, they're loud.
They'll talk, right?
Yeah, they talk.
They don't have no problem.
Yeah, they talk down.
They don't have no problem getting out real good. Yeah. Don't trip over that shit. That's not important. On mids and highs, don't worry about high ohm loads. You can run 16 ohms and you'd still be fine. You need a little bit more power on them, but they'll still get down. Not a problem. Ha! A triple chocolate cake, huh? The Kicker L7XS? Yeah, okay. It'd be a square cake, but, cakes are usually square, though, aren't they? You know why cakes are square? Because ovens are square. Yeah, right?
Yeah, I guess.
You know why pans are round? Because burners are round. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it's burners are round because pans are round.
Or maybe you don't know.
Yeah, possible. I mean, which one came first? The cake or the pan? I bet it was the cake.
And then they invented a pan.
And they invented a pan to make it easier to make the cake. Yeah. And then, of course, when they made the oven, they go, well, the pans are square. So they made the oven square. Makes sense. Squares are better for fitting things together than circles. Circles suck. You sacrifice space. But circles are easier to build with because it's round. You can spin it and do the thing. So, yeah. Fun stuff. Tower amps in the oven. Yeah, it is in the oven. Yeah. Mids and highs. I am running a Street Pro Slaps Street Pro. I can't even talk. My words aren't working. The Slaps Street Pro 10 in each door and a custom door panel. And the Slaps tweeters, the bullet tweeters in each door. Watch out for the oxygen-free copper. Watch out for oxygen-free copper. You got to watch where the commas go because that can change the entire sentence. Yeah. It can change the entire meaning of a sentence. If depending on if you had the sentence was 2 flies screwing in a light bulb. Okay. Now, depending on where you put that comma,
yes,
it's going to dictate what the hell you're talking about. Let's see. Yeah, I got 4 8-ohm 15s for the summer. My backseat vehicle for the winter. Okay. All right. Yep, y'all's words, man. I'll tell you, they're funny.
Do they make 8 ohms for
That's a
15s?
doable thing. That's basically what I'm running. My 15s are set up for 8 ohms, dual fours.
Oh, and then you just
Yeah,
wire them
yeah,
up
you just
instead
wire
of
'em.
wire them down.
Yep, it's no big deal, man. That's actually pretty common back in the day to get 8 ohm subwoofers because everybody was using 8 ohm home speakers
Mm-hmm.
in their car. So when they started building subwoofers and car audio,
They was
they were
using the
building
house.
8 ohm coils because everybody was running shit with 8 ohms anyway. Going to dual coils like they do now just makes it easier to sell stuff because you can sell someone this that can do this, or this. Instead of selling them one thing for one particular group, it makes them easier to sell. That's what dual coils did, is made shit easier to sell. That's all it
You
really,
can change it.
yeah,
You can change the ohms of how
sure.
you wire it.
Yep. And you could run it in different configurations. And that's why they went to dual voice coils, because of that reason. That's the only reason. Money. Uh, Making a round oven would be a pita also in the ass. Yeah. Well, it depends on how you're making the oven. I mean, if you're making it like on a clay, on a clay, on a wheel, it's just spinny. You just grab it, slide your Peter freaking attachers down the thing, and it turns into a pot, and then you put a lid on it, and now you have an oven. I mean, that was the first oven, was a big old pot on a fire with a lid, and it was easier to make something like that round than it was to make it square. But now it would be cool, and you can imagine a kitchen with a big round oven.
It'd be like a washing machine.
Yeah, a big old round sitting in the corner. People looking at it going, "What the hell is that in your kitchen?" Well, that's the oven, don't you know? That's my Canadian accent there, don't you know? That's the oven, don't you know? Yes. Okay. On to don't use OFC or CCA. Lamp cord is the only way to go, guys.
Cord.
Grandmama's lamp cord, as Steve Mead always calls it. And Grandmama's lamp cord. She's looking for why would my lamp come on? Somebody hooked up a subwoofer. Holy shit. Also, be careful to spell correctly. Even if you have to Google grandfather clock, don't forget the L. Yeah, right? That gets complicated fast, dude. Christopher, come on in here, Christopher. Gonna pet the puppy? Scar Audio. Holy shit, somebody asked me. What do I think of Scar Audio? Scar Audio is not bad. Scar Audio has some good gear and some bad gear. Most of their amplifiers are very inefficient, but they do make power. As long as you put twice as much battery power on them as you would for any other amplifier, you can get good performance out of them. I do not care for their amplifiers too much, for the most part, because of that reason. But their speakers work fine. I mean, they have good and bad stuff. It's like a mixed bag. Just because it says Scar doesn't mean it's all going to be bad or all going to be good. You got to look at the equipment that you're buying and not the name that's on the equipment. It's like if I told you, if you said, what kind of car should I get? And I just said Ford. That doesn't tell you shit. That tells you the name of the company that manufactures the vehicle. But just because it says Scar doesn't mean it's going to suit your needs. I hate name brand labeling my name brands. It's just EVs and PVs. Hell yeah. Yeah, that's old school, brother. All the Black Widow and Scorpion from the bass amplifiers. You get them Black Widow and Scorpion speakers out of those bass amps. Those things would get down, dude. They were nasty. Future plans for the bass machine. I have an assortment of plans for the bass machine. I'm going to run the existing B-pillar ported flat wall with the 415 Oblivions in it until next winter. And I ain't 100% sure what I'm going to do, but I may be switching to a sixth order with 6 Oblivion version 2s in it, and 3 of the Shock 8Ks powering the setup, and 3 Trunk Thunder Lithium 10Ks for the battery power, and then switching to both my alternators all the time so I can get 670 amps constantly back to that. That's what I'm thinking about maybe happening. Don't know for sure. Good old lamp of corn. Yes, sir. Vacuum or heavy duty extension cords. Those live sound subs are geared much more towards replicating kick drums, where the bottom end is usually 45 to 60 hertz. Yep. Now, if you get the right enclosure, see, you got to remember though, when back in the late 80s and early 90s, there was no music being made anywhere that played below 40 hertz. Like no records, no vinyl records were reproduced lower than 40 hertz. Whenever they recorded music and processed it and mixed it, they always made sure that there were no bass notes that were lower than 40 hertz. If you guys can remember the song Another One Bites the Dust, that's probably one of the most bass heavy songs everyone can remember from back in the late 70s, early 80s. Another One Bites the Dust. Ba-da-dum-dum-dum. That shit's at 80 hertz. That bass note is like 80 hertz. How's that for crazy? I pulled it up. I forgot it was something like that. It's around 80 hertz. I pulled it up in Audacity to check it. And that bass note, that bottom note is 80 freaking hertz. So nothing back in the day played low enough to require frequencies. We've only started doing that, since the mid 90s.
Was that when like DJ Magic Mike and
all that shit was high bass too?
Was it? And then that Tech Master.
Even the stuff, a lot of the stuff for that were like bass music.
Yeah, like the Tech. It was like Ted Master.
Like bass. Was it called? Bass Garage or whatever it was called. I can't think now. Anyway, all that shit, a lot of that was mixed that way too. It didn't drop below like 40, 35, 40 hertz. So it was as low as it went.
That explains a lot to me, because I'll put some songs now that bumped hard in the early 90s.
Yeah, and they're weak.
And then now it's like, dude, this shit used to hit so hard.
Yeah, it's weak, man. That's because you've gotten used to that 25, 26, 27 hertz, 28 hertz.
Yeah.
And back then, that was unheard of. Nothing played that low. You couldn't put any frequencies that low on a record. There wasn't room in the groove. If you put really low frequencies on a record, it would take up way more space on the record. Because the needle goes side to side on a record. Everybody thinks about the record needle bouncing up and down, but it doesn't. It goes side to side. So when you put a low frequency track on a record, it takes up a lot more space in there, and space is money. And like I said, money is the decision maker. So yeah, we didn't have any low bass back then. It just didn't exist. Christopher. Is Christopher going to hold up an extant amp today? No, Christopher's not here today. Christopher is doing something. He's doing something else with it. He's got his pickle. He's playing with his pickle at home, Christopher. If he was here, he'd be chiming in something stupid right now. He's not here, though, so we can talk all kind of crap about Christopher. Don't touch yourself. Don't touch yourself. You'll get that disease. Let's see. Good old lamp cord. What else we got? Whatever's laying around, as long as it's put to use. Hell yeah. Fresh crawfish on you. Let's see. Windows. I love bass. That was a good one. Yeah, that track. I love bass. Oh, it's bass. I love you. That's what I'm prompting my brain to say. Epicenter. Phil Collins hit the lows. Not really. Not back in the day. He didn't. Go back and pull that shit up and put it in Audacity and see where the lows are. It's really not. Pink Floyd. Yeah, they would do one thing live and another thing on the record too. So if you went to Pink Floyd concerts, you would get a lot of live music. A lot of their live shows would give you the lows, but on record they wouldn't be because they couldn't put them on record. What started the lows getting put down on media? Where you headed off to?
Just going to smoke.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, man. Knock yourself out.
I've been doing a throttle body on a Silverado.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. He's talking about working on mechanical stuff. You're gonna have to put your head on camera when you come back, so I know who you are. Anyway, they couldn't put whenever tapes came out when they started making in the late '70s. Whenever the cassette tape was taken off, and y'all know the cassette tape was actually around before the 8-track tape was. Yeah, go ahead, figure that one out. Anyway, whenever the tapes started being the main media, we could put those low frequencies on there, so you started seeing that happen more. And I'm not mistaken, Leo Fender was actually the guy that invented the bass guitar amp. There was no electric bass guitar amplifier. Leo Fender is the one that invented that. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure he was. So we have Leo Fender to thank for all the bass in music.
So that was a big one.
Oh yeah, well that's a Cannon Blast. Yeah, but that was in the show too. And I don't know if it was lower than 40 hertz either. I'll have to look into that one. I tapped out one person this year. How do you do? See, I count out. Here's my the tap out requirements. The person had to either request that you turn the volume down or has to bail out the door, which we don't like when they do that, but it happens. I've had it happen a few times. Or they have to put their hands or fingers over or in their ears. If any one of those three things happens, I consider that a tap out. Slow and low.
Let it go.
Yes,
That
Chris.
is the tempo.
Yeah. Chris has to be doing something with his hands all the time. Yes, he cannot sit still. He's hilarious.
Bass mechanic, yep.
That's what I was trying to think
Yeah,
of.
that one, and then Techmaster PEB bass computer.
Mechanic. So my song was the Pink Panther. It was called the Pink Boom. And it's specifically the Pink Boom. And it was like a deep version of the Pink Panther's theme. And I used to cruise around dropping that. That shit was good, man. Phil Collins hit the 20s and 30s. Let's see. I don't know. I'd have to go back and dig. But Phil Collins was primarily 80s. So he wasn't really we were starting to switch things over at that point. Oh, Alma Gates. Alma Gates. He said the words. Those words are straight up royalty right there. Do not know. I ain't heard anything about it. Maybe somebody in chat has, though. Have y'all all slapped that like button? Why is there not? There needs to be more likes. Cassette was 4-track. That was not exactly true, but you're not far off, Stu. It was called what was it called? It was called a when they were using it in the studio. Oh God, now I can't remember.
Yeah,
But it had a different name. It was basically an 8-track tape, but it was a cart. It was called a cart, and they used it to run long run programs or commercials on. And they would take those carts and cue them up to where they were in the right spot. They'd put it in, play the commercial, and pull it back out. They could switch them around. Those were called carts. And yes, they were basically an 8-track. But later on, the guy that invented, or not the guy, the airplane guy, the jet plane guy, Flair?
no.
Is that the word I'm looking for? Anyway, the guy that did all the jet planes, the private jet planes, he's the one that basically made the 8-track into a thing. But the actual micro cassette tape that we're all familiar with was actually there and functional in its current state before the 8-track ever happened. Uh, it just wasn't commercially ready. The 8-track was actually, in a lot of ways, better than a cassette tape, but it had a wider tape. It ran at a slower speed, so it was able, or a faster speed. It was able to hold more data and be more accurate. It was actually superior in a lot of ways. I tapped out on my new bill. I about tapped myself out a couple of times. No, I know, right? Hit the like or you eat hot dogs sideways. I love it. Brand new blocks we don't eat. The first like was mine. The first like, no, I had the first one. I beat you. I haven't even liked my own stream. I can't. I don't have any way to get to it. Let's see
Your
here.
phone?
Huh?
Your phone?
Yeah, I could go that way, I guess. 4-track. Yeah, the 4-track, but that was carts. That was the same platform. They were literally, you could take one of those carts and play it on an 8-track player, but you would end up with your turn. You got to make sure you turn the volume down if you're going to do that.
Just down.
Okay. Because it's really delayed. So basically, you would get bleed over from different tracks. Although it was the same, the heads were made different, so you got weird bleed over. Let's see. Have you ever had a no wall? Oh yeah, I've had many no walls. I'm running my second wall right now, so I've had way more no walls than walls. Where was that? Lear. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Stu. Stu. Yeah, that guy. He's the one that basically invented the 8-track in the current form that we all know of. Short-lived digital studio tapes. Nah. I have a wealth of knowledge about this stuff, guys, but it only goes so far. I mean, there's an end. I do remember I do remember some stuff being stored in digital format on the tape, but I can't nail that down good and tight. You're not supposed to like your own stuff. Oh no, that's terrible. And I was just saying good things about Red Pill too. You know, that's like, man, I'll tell you what. I have a no walk. Hell yeah, baby. I have a no walk too. I had to use it at Walmart earlier. That was used more. That's digital audio. Was used more in recording studios than from what I remember. I don't know. Where are those little Sony ones, Fuego? Let's see. I have a no wall. Most of what we deal with is no walls. Mini disc. Oh yeah. It did. It died quickly in the United States, but it went for a long time in Europe. I mean, that shit ran forever in Europe. The mini disc. That was how they did. Like when we were doing the Sony Walkmans, they were doing the mini disc. When we were doing everything, they did mini disc for a very long time.
I remember Laserdisc.
No, it was different. It's a mini disc. It's kind of,
heard of it.
yeah. It's a little colored guy. It looks kind of like the little disc you put in the computer.
Yeah.
There's one similar to that. It looks very. It wasn't the same, but it was about the same size. No, they had those too, man. They had the tiny CDs too. Let's see here. Europeans. Well, yeah. I mean, you know, Laserdisc movies. Oh yeah, they were. That was a format that could have worked if it wasn't for the fact
being that big like a record.
Yeah, and they come out about the same time that the VHS did, and you know, and then the DVD just There was just no place for them. They also had a record that played movies. So like you could take a record, like just a regular vinyl record, and you could put movies on it. And yeah, you could do that, and it would play a movie. They had those. So we've experienced a lot of stuff. 418s and a Stang. That would be insane, dude. Betamax, yeah, Betamax is another one. They just didn't have the right advertisement. You should see the Mustang that I was in. It had 418s, 164 dB. That's nasty. Nasty, very nasty.
Oh yeah. Car.
Yeah, be kind, rewind. You guys got any more questions for me? Because if not, we're going to be jumping off here pretty quick. We're going back outside to work on stuff. Red Pill said, kind of like Blu-ray versus HD DVD. Yeah, exactly. It's, Blu-ray was just better. And, Blu-ray wasn't about making the recording better. It was about better copyright protection. That's the whole point in Blu-ray. It had nothing to do with making better quality. It was about making it harder to copy. Again, the answer is always money. Not about providing a better product. It's money. It's always money. iPod versus Zune. Yep, that's another example. Sure. Zune was a better product, but iPod was marketed better. Way better. All right, El Fuego. You have a peace out, my friend. We're going to duck out too, guys. So you guys, I'll see you next Friday. Let's get the duck out of here, baby.
Subwoofers are getting loud, you can feel the booming sound. Getting ready to go, got it shined up for the show. Power's charging, amps are amping, gonna let the woofers blow. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one goes, and another one goes, and another one bites the dust. We got more at home, another one bites the dust. Eyes are glowing and the amps smoking, subs are cherry red. Let me keep jamming, gotta keep the bass slamming, gonna go hard till they're dead. Full power, gotta let it go, 20 hertz in the floating air. Sparks are flying, voice cords are frying, and the smoke is in the air. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one goes, and another one goes, and another one bites the dust. Hey, we got more at home. Another one bites the dust.